Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wildlife Watch, and these tranquil summer scenes behind me as this meadow here, using the warm and wet weather as a bit of a catalyst, has exploded into buttercups. Now, this is not one of our reserve meadow areas. It has just exploited the fact that mowers have not been able to come, and it does make you think actually about how many other areas could look like this, masses of colour, perhaps if we just relaxed our mowing approach with certain areas and just allow things to grow and benefit for the insects and the wildlife which is around us. So this area here is at the back of the pub. Many of you will know it well, and join me as we take a little trip around the local area and just see what early summer species are emerging in our flowers, in our borders and in our hedgerows. And you do not have to go far to see one of my springtime favourites. This is the elderbush. Most people will know it for the dark purple berries which emerge sort of early autumn time. I love it for these. These are elder flowers, and they have a very distinctive sweet smell, normally after a spring rainfall or early summer rainfall. They've just come into bloom now. I particularly enjoy these flowers. I'm very conscious not to take them all, even though there is an abundance of elder on this row, but I do take some of these and make it into a drink, elderflower cordial. I know a few people of the alcoholic beverage tendency will also use it to make wines as well. So it's a perfectly edible flower that can be used in all manner of sort of produce that we can cook and eat. So this is quite a lot of popular species on some of the verges and some of the meadows. Absolutely stunning purple little flowers here. This is speedwell, which is a natural species which occurs in grasses and meadows. It appears May time, and it'll be around for about 6 to 8 weeks before it all kind of disappears. And we've got little pockets of it dotted around, particularly in this little area here. It tends to like shorter grasses. If you get sort of like some of the taller species of grass, they just completely smoke it out and you just won't see it because it's quite low to the ground. It doesn't seem to grow more than sort of 6 inches high, really. Yeah, quite a nice little spot. So this is our reserved meadow area, and if you look into the thick of the grass, you will see just bursting through now are our marsh orchids. Let's try and get one of these so we can have a closer look at it. It's not quite in full flower yet, but you can see the flowers starting to fall. So the whole head of that flower will have lots of these flowers all the way up it. There are northern orchids, there are common spotted orchids, there are southern orchids. And it is believed, sort of walking around the site, that we might have a bit of a mixture of what they are. Now, what that means is they probably will hybridize in certain places, because orchids do that, and they kind of make sort of like a crossbreed, as it were. Not a problem, they're still a fantastic flower to have around. But at the moment we seem to have all these separate species, and I will suspect at some point there'll be separate species but also a bit of a mixture of all these kind of like hybrid varieties as well. They're a fantastic addition to it. As you can see, there's lots of buttercup and there's lots of other species, and these are probably one of my favourite flowers, and I will get some photographs of these when these are in full flower and just coming into their own. So one of the things that happens when I do guest speaking about the natural world is I talk about what would happen to areas of our community, of our green spaces, if we stopped mowing. And I think this is an example of what could happen. Here, none of this area here has been seeded. It is regularly strimmed, but I think it might have missed a strimming schedule this year. And you can see here, these are oxeye daisies, which are a very large daisy species. We also have yellow iris, which is a popular plant next to watercourses. And just looking around at the ground level, we've got this one here, which is lesser seen, particularly in an area like this, really. This is bird's foot trefoil. which likes a limestone surface. Now there isn't really a soil base here, but somehow, and it's not in isolation by any means, there's quite a lot of it on this bankside. Somehow it's got here, somehow it's seeded, and it seems to be doing really well. Can you imagine what could happen to other areas within our green spaces, within our parks, if we just left a few borders and see what grew? These have grown here from seeds that have not been planted. They are just here. And just the fact that they are currently existing now is just because we haven't cut them away again.